Today's topic is pain and spiritual growth, and I'm really excited about this topic. There seems to be a lot of interest here in this topic based on what I've seen, the reactions I've seen on my page. Does physical pain have anything to do with spiritual awakening? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to know if you have struggled with nagging pain or even maybe a debilitating pain through your life that just wouldn't go away. Like you tried everything that you could to alleviate this pain and nothing worked. That's the story I'm going to tell you tonight. I'm going to tell you about my own experience with pain that I couldn't get rid of. And even as a medical professional, I couldn't find any answers. So you guys are not alone, being the layperson experiencing a lot of pain in your life and can't not being able to find the answer to it. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. It seems to be an epidemic. There are quite a few people walking this planet who carry around a lot of pain because they found no other way to exist without it. And it's not a very good way to live. I want to give my disclosure here for this discussion. I'm sharing my experience with you and a channeled message from the Canine Guides regarding its meaning, but in no way, shape, or form is any of this considered or meant to be substituted for medical advice. So I'm just going to lay that out there right now, get that out of the way, all the legal stuff. So, what significance does pain have on a spiritual level? So, if you have pain in your body, is there a connection between that pain and a spiritual meaning, a spiritual lesson, or a spiritual message? What does that pain mean? And this is a very fascinating topic to me. I've spent 30 years as a physical therapist, and chronic pain is certainly a common dynamic in my profession, not only with my patients, but also with myself. I have suffered chronic pain with my neck for over 30 years. So we're going to talk about that and how I found my way out of it. In fact, the main reason I even became a physical therapist back in the 1990s was so I could understand my body better. But I found that my education and my training just wasn't providing enough answers, especially where my body was concerned. A lot of times I could help other people, but I couldn't find a way to help myself. So let me share with you a little bit about my own journey with chronic pain. I underwent a brain surgery in 1994, and ever since then, I have suffered with insomnia and nagging, debilitating neck pain. Now, if you've read my book, you already understand the significance of the brain surgery and the fact that this operation wasn't just a surgery, but it was a shift in my timeline. And this is often the case with major medical situations. So it wasn't just a plain old surgery. There was a significant reason that I had this brain tumor and that I ended up on the surgical table. So we won't go into that detail right now. But ever since that happened, for the next 30 years, I suffered with neck pain. And it progressively worsened as time went by until I wasn't able to sleep at night and I could barely turn my head. Like my head just wouldn't turn and it hurt so bad. It was all over here on the left side. I searched and I searched and I searched for solutions. So I took courses on techniques, hoping that each one would hold the missing remedy for my misery. But none of them really did. They helped for a little bit, but the pain always came back. I learned some pretty cool stuff, and my patients benefited from all the neat techniques I was learning, but it didn't help me. I enrolled in an 800-hour massage certification program, thinking, well, maybe I can learn something from the massage profession. Maybe they've turned the table and discovered something that I don't know as a physical therapist. It was a great program. I learned a lot, but it didn't offer me any solutions. I enrolled in a 2-year functional medicine bridge program for physical therapists. I learned functional medicine. Surely I could help myself this way. With functional medicine, we treat the body from the inside out. So maybe this approach would be effective, more effective than working from the outside of the body. I mean, I must have spent $30,000 or more just in training so that I could hopefully help myself. I also tried chiropractic and even upper cervical chiropractic, which is a specialty and it's very expensive. Um, and I did discover that my head was on crooked and that it did need to be addressed, but that didn't change my pain. So none of these options offered me long term relief. I tried physical therapy, of course, cupping, massage, neurological resets, vagal stem, TENS, TMJ release, cranial sacral release, Reiki, exercise, drugs. I mean, I tried everything. I even completely changed my diet, became vegan, vegetarian, and sometimes vegan, detoxed myself, got my gut in order. I thought surely this was going to be it. Maybe it was just a toxic situation. Maybe it was environmental toxins that were collecting in my neck. Nothing helped. I got brain scans. I got neurological and psychological evaluations. I did past life hypnotherapy sessions. I learned a lot of really cool stuff, but nothing changed how I felt. I left no stone unturned, but yet I didn't have any more answers and I didn't feel better. I did have a suspicion that there was something about that brain tumor or something about the brain surgery, something that happened during the surgery that was holding me in place. And instinctively, I just knew that this was what was causing my neck pain. It was something that I couldn't understand until I wrote my book. And in my book, I go into great detail about the meaning behind the surgery and what event it brought into my life. But even after understanding that, I still wasn't free of the pain. And I still didn't have any answers as far as how to get rid of it. So, have any of you found yourself in this situation where you had a medical issue you couldn't find any answers to, you couldn't get the help you needed, you took it into your own hands to try and find the solutions, and you just couldn't make it happen? You just couldn't find the right combination to relieve yourself of this agony. Have any of you been in this situation? I'm assuming probably some of you have because you're on this call. And knowing the patients that I work with who deal with pain, I would have to say there's a large majority of people out there walking this planet that do have chronic pain. So, does that apply to any of you? It depresses the mind and body, even when you would like to be active. That's right. That's a very good point, Karen. But after all of this, I was beginning to wonder if I would ever find a solution and be out of constant pain. I was so desperate to make the pain stop and to have full range and full use of my neck. It had been so long since I was able to fully turn my head that I couldn't remember what it was like. Now, let me just say, there were a few things I did know about my neck physically that could contribute to these symptoms. One was that I have no curve in my neck. My neck is completely straight. Necks usually have a bow in them, and it acts as a suspension so that as your body moves, the brain has like like a shock absorber through the neck. Well, my neck is completely straight. So that puts me in jeopardy for some damage to the cervical spine. I also have already multiple disc herniations and spinal stenosis in my neck, probably because the neck is straight and there's no suspension left in it. Um, but all of these things were on the right side. My neck issues were on the left side. So none of it made sense. I also had arthritis in my neck already, and none of it was pain that you would experience from radiating pain from like an impinged nerve. It wasn't that kind of pain. It was muscular tension. It was just tight. It would just ball up and not let go. So none of this made sense. It was more like a torticollis, like it just like these muscles would just shorten and not relax, never relax. They were always tight. And throughout the day, it would get progressively worse and progressively tighter. And by the end of the day, I could barely turn my head, and trying to drive was very difficult because just turning to look at the rear view mirrors was very uncomfortable and sometimes not even possible. But in 2022, I began my awakening, as I've already shared. And I thought for sure, with all the changes that were coming through, that I was going to be freed from this pain. Surely that was part of the plan for this whole awakening process, right? I was hoping. Through this process, I was finding and removing long standing patterns of resistance and opening up energy flow every single day. And I thought for sure part of this release process was going to be releasing whatever was holding here. With the meditations I did every day, I was receiving powerful, energetic releases, and I was experiencing a lot of change in my body. I could feel it everywhere else except here. So that year was full of a lot of hope and a lot of change, but none of it applied to the pain. In September of that year, I finally finished writing the book and I submitted it to my publisher. And I attended an ayahuasca ceremony. I don't know if people here know what ayahuasca is. If any of you don't, drop me a note. I'll explain it more thoroughly. But ayahuasca is a plant medicine and it is a teaching plant. So ayahuasca was calling me into ceremony with her. She's a feminine. These This is a feminine plant. She's very motherly and she teaches you when you sit with her. And during the ceremony, she taught me something about my neck. And I went on this journey with her, and she explained a lot of what was happening with a lot of things, but also with my neck. It was a beautiful experience. And when I came out of my journey with her, I realized I was laying face down on my mat and my head was turned completely to the left side, something I have not been able to do for 30 years. All of a sudden, I had full range of motion of my neck and no pain. Huh. Yeah. What's that about? So I'm like, oh, this is wild. But also during that ceremony, I had a visit from Oregon. And Oregon is one of the canine spirit guides in my book. She's on the cover because she's my favorite. But she appeared to me in her Black Panther form during the ceremony, perched herself up on my chest, and she removed a mask that I had been hiding behind. And this is one of the things that Oregon does for people is she helps us identify masks that we hide behind. So A mask is something, it's an untruth about yourself that you tell yourself and also that you portray to the world. So it's a belief you have about yourself, or maybe it's a fear you have. So you project something to prevent people from seeing this fear. Oregon removed it from me, and that was partly attached to everything that was going on in the neck as well. So all of that happened in this very short period of time. And thankfully, I was able to maintain my pain free, full range of motion status for the next month. I could drive my car and I could turn, my head and check my mirror and not have any pain. I was ecstatic. I can't even tell you how ecstatic I was. One thing I realized is that when you're in pain, you have this constant noise in your head, and it's the static from the neurons constantly firing pain, and it's a noise. When this pain is finally relieved, the noise goes away. It's like everything stops in your head and it's so quiet. It's like when you go to the desert and there's no sound. That's what it's like when the pain stops. So I was reminded of that. And I always like to share that with people because it's quite alarming when that pain stops, when it gets so quiet. But this was interesting because it taught me um, it taught me that yes, indeed, my pain was of a energetic source. It wasn't had nothing really to do with the physical things going on in my neck because it was removed energetically. So that was a theory I had all along, that it had something to do with that brain surgery, right? And I found this very interesting. But what happened was it ended up creeping back in. So, of course, I wasn't happy about this. And for the next 8 months, I desperately searched for ways to get rid of it again. So, why did it come back? Why did I get so much relief with ayahuasca, clear understanding of why it was there, clearly relieved it from my energy field, and then it came back? Why do you think that was? Boy, I was mad. Can you imagine? I was like, "What the heck, man?" I mean, I've devoted my life to this new passion, this new calling, and yet I can't even get my neck pain taken care of. I'm taking care of everybody else. When am I gonna get taken care of, right? And through my frustration, one day after 8 months, I got really frustrated, and I just screamed out loud, "What is it gonna take for me to abolish this tension and pain in my neck? What is it gonna take?" You know how you just like you get frustrated and you just start talking out loud and you're like, "I don't get it. What is it? What do I need to do?" So that's where I was at that moment. Strangely enough, so this was in June of this year. Strangely enough, a couple days later, I was in meditation and I received a very profound energetic shift that I was not expecting. During the meditation, I got this download that expanded my channel in a direction that I wasn't anticipating. And this download also came with an energetic upgrade that cleared my throat chakra. Absolutely cleared any blockage there, cleared any, opened it up, and it must have had something to do with what was going on in this neck. I don't know if it was a seal. I don't know if it was just time sensitive and now it was time for it to happen. But as the download came in, the energetic download came in, my neck pain disappeared and it has not come back since. So that was in June. And at first, the muscles were tender because for 30 years they had been contracted. So when you have a muscle that's always tight, all of a sudden when it's loose like that, the muscles are sore because you have all the byproducts from the constant contraction that's stuck in the tissue, so that my neck didn't hurt, but it was tender. It was like, wow, that's tender. It wasn't tight at all. It was just tender when I touched it. So that took about a couple weeks for that to clear away, and then I'm completely back to normal. I can move my head like I never have been able to before, and I'm just astounded when I sit here and my neck doesn't hurt. So that was earth-shattering to me, and I think I have a quote written down here. Sheldon Cooper, you know that show, what's the name of his show? I wanna say Third Rock from the Sun, but that's another show. Sheldon Cooper says, "Bazinga." That's kinda how it's like, "Bazinga," when that came through, and I just felt all that release. So, I'm telling you all this, but what is it to be gleaned from this experience and this example? Because that's what's so exciting. What is it that you can deduct from this experience? Oh, yes, thank you, Karen. Big Bang. Thank you. Yeah, Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Um, but based on this experience, I went to the canine guides and I said, okay, what's up with this? Why did things progress this way? And what is it I need to know about this? Why did I have this experience? And as you know, if you've read my book, my entire life was designed so that I could share that experience with you. So again, here's another experience. I'm just a scapegoat. I'm just a lab rat that they make things happen with so I can come out here and talk to you about it and help you. But I had that experience and the revelation of what it meant so that I could share with you what I learned. And there are a number of things that are to be gleaned from this example, and I'm going to share those with you now. No matter how hard I tried to address pain from the physical body as a physical therapist, sometimes that's just not the issue. Sometimes that's not going to work. And this was where my frustration was. I wanted to help myself and my clients, my patients. Sometimes, though, it has to be addressed energetically. And energetically, we have the opportunity to remove not just physical pain, but even deeper pain and deeper sources of pain. Energy is designed to flow through the body. So when energy is blocked, it accumulates near the blockage. For me, it was the neck and interferes with function and movement. And it can even cause pain and disease. I give a really good example of this in my book. Emotions and beliefs are also energy. Injuries are trapped in energy, and trauma and past life trauma are deeply buried energy. So, all of this energy has to be removed from the body because if it's not, it creates problem. It creates pain, diseases, yada, yada, yada. So the blocked energy cannot be removed until it is ready to be removed, or our subconscious is ready to let it go, even though consciously we may think we understand this. So I was saying, okay, I'm ready to be done with this. Why can't I find a solution? Well, I didn't quite have the right combination yet ready to unlock, or the key to unlock that blockage. So until everything fell into place, nothing would work. even though ayahuasca had taken it from me, even though Oregon had removed it from me, I was still holding on to a belief or an expectation, or sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's beyond our control, and that it's a timing issue. So that also came into play because it wasn't time yet for me to have that part of me completely released and functional. Some blockages are designed to stay in place until a key moment in our life when it's scheduled to be released if you hit this bookmark. So there's a bookmark that you're supposed to hit at a certain point. And when you line up to that bookmark, then you have the perfect combination to unlock a blockage such as this. I'm not saying every pain is like that. This is one of the possibilities. For me, that's what was this was all about. I had to get to that precise opportunity and moment and alignment in my development before I was ready to fully release it. Um, so when you do hit this bookmark, it's kind of like you're signifying a new chapter, a new direction, a new ability, or an ascension to a new level of awareness. And so that's energetically what's waiting to come into place until you are fully able to release this very powerful blockage that kind of just holds you in this place until that very moment. And for me, I was locked into a pattern ever since that brain surgery because and I was locked into it until I was able and ready to download that new frequency. It triggered a new activation in me that literally just unlocked the blockage like a key in a lock. I can't even explain. I can't even put into words what it feels like. It was a predetermined intersection or interaction set to be activated at that very moment when I was finally ready to fully move forward. So a lot of things came, a lot of things had to happen. It was a step pattern. It wasn't just me saying, okay, what do I need to do? Because believe me, that's not the first time I've said that. But I had to get to a certain place in my spiritual growth and my spiritual development and my ascension and my skill level before I was ready to receive that specific download that unlocked it. And this is what can be so frustrating about pain, because if we try and address it just from the outside, just from the skills I have as a physical therapist, there's no way I would be able to do that. There's no way I would be able to know that. And that's what's so frustrating when you're dealing with a person in your office, they're in pain. You want to use all these techniques that you've been taught. Some of them work, but some of them just work for a short period of time and then they're back in the office and they're not very happy with you. Um, so this is what's so compelling about pain. And this is why it's such an important topic, because it's important for us now to shift our focus as healthcare providers, as spiritual teachers and spiritual healers, to shift the conversation into that spiritual healing. And that's why they wanted me to talk to you about this. And I'm sharing this with you to help you better understand the purpose of your pain, as well as to provide you with an opportunity to discover your pain's purpose and how to remove energetic trapped energy. So, this is the very service I offer my clients during my channeled sessions with the canine spirit guides. So when I have my when I work with my clients energetically, channeling in the canine spirit guides, one of the first things that the guides do is they identify these blocked patterns. It doesn't always correlate to pain. It can correlate to pain, but if you're having chronic pain, then that's what they're going to be drawn to. They're going to want to help you out of that pain pattern because it's blocking your ability to see or feel or hear anything else. That's the nature of pain, is just to get your attention, right? So in these sessions, that's one of the first thing they do is they identify any blockages that need to be removed. They explain to you what the blockage is, what purpose it serves in your life, because there is something that we need to learn about this blockage. It's not just that it's bad and we need to get rid of it. It serves a purpose. There's an understanding that needs to occur before the blockage can be removed. And it's important to be very grateful for that learning because it's an experience that is important for your growth. So if we hate the pain, if we resent it for being there, then that's going to slow down the release process. The faster we can what integrate the learning that the blockage and the pain has to offer us, then the faster we're going to heal from it. But what the guides do is they explain all that to you, and depending on who's working with you in that session, and they do that through me. I channel it and explain it to you what they've told me, and then they help get rid of it for you during the same session. So that's what I do with my healing sessions with the canine guides. And really, my entire book is a roadmap of how my life demonstrates how they work. That's the whole point of writing the book, I realized after I wrote it. Um, and also to learn what these canine guides have to offer humanity, to
And
offer you insight into what might be happening within your own body or your own energetic field, and provide you an opportunity for clearing it just like I did. So that's what my services offer, your ability to clear whatever's blocking you. So even if it's not pain, it could be a belief that's holding you captive right here, right now. If you've been searching, wanting to grow spiritually, emotionally, and you're just stuck, then it's the same concept as the pain. Wouldn't it be great if you could experience this for yourself? Removing blocked energy patterns and opening up your energy flow. It's amazing. I've got some people on this call who've had it. I don't know if they want to share, but yeah, it's an amazing experience to finally feel that opening and finally have all that just lifted off of you. And that's what these canine guides offer. Um,